$100 in your comic book budget for a single book and you're not sure what to spend it on? In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 comics to invest in for the winter of 2020 on a $100 budget. Let's go. One of the best pieces of advice we share is to stop chasing little fish. If you want to catch big fish, or in more direct terms, if you want bigger or more valuable comic books in your collection, stop spending your budget on lower value books. Every collector or investor's budget is different, but if you have $100 in your budget and apply it to a single book, you'll quickly notice an uptick in the quality of books in your collection. And in this video, I'm going to cover 10 of my current favorite books you can pick up for right around $100. If we're just meeting, my name is Drew Stewart and I am the owner of Como Comic Books, a Columbia, Missouri-based comic book vendor. And on our YouTube channel, we focus on bringing you the best tips and tricks to help you take your comic collection to the next level. Before we dive into the list, if you're looking for a new way to invest in not only comic books, but other pop culture-based collectibles, be sure to check out Otis, the investment platform for culture, where you can buy and sell shares of contemporary art, sneakers, and collectibles. That's right, my friends, this is a sponsored video. And now let's get into the list. Coming in at the number 10 spot is an Alan Moore and John Totleben classic, MiracleMan number 15. Published by Eclipse Comics in November of 1988, Alan Moore was just over a year removed from the conclusion of The Watchmen and was continuing his breaking down of the modern superhero in one of the most disturbing superhero stories ever told. The death of Kid MiracleMan is a story that sticks with the reader whether they want it to or not. Prior to Marvel securing the rights to reprint MiracleMan, after the property languished in legal purgatory for what seemed like an eternity, this book commanded a price of $300 for a high-grade copy. While the availability of reprints has brought down the value of this issue from its previous highs, it's still a quality addition to every collector's hoard. Landing on the number 9 spot is the first solo outing of everyone's favorite crazy rich guy that gets dressed up at night to beat up bad guys. Number 9 is Marvel Spotlight number 28, the first solo story featuring Mark Spector as Moon Knight. Were you expecting someone else? Written by Doug Monk and drawn by Don Perlin, this June 1976 issue has begun to catch the eye of many collectors as Werewolf by Night 32 has priced itself out of reach for many in the hobby. With a Disney Plus project in the works, confirming years of speculation on the Moon Knight character, this book, along with other early appearances of Moon Knight in Werewolf by Night 33 and 37, Marvel Spotlight 29, and Marvel Preview Magazine number 21, will continue to be in high demand leading up to the release of the show. At the time of recording this video, a high-grade copy will set you back, you guessed it, $100. Our number 8 book is Next Men number 21, which features the first color appearance of Big Red, better known as Hellboy. Debuting in San Diego Comic-Con Comics number 2 in August of 1993, Mike Mignola's Hellboy would quickly go from his 4-page first appearance story to a guest spot in John Byrne's Next Men issue number 21, just 4 months later in December of 1993. Byrne's connection with Hellboy goes back to the character's first appearance, where he provided the dialogue for Mike Mignola's plot. Soon thereafter, Hellboy would be one of the most popular characters in the Dark Horse stable. With 3 movies under his belt, Hellboy continues to be a prominent character for Dark Horse, and that continues to keep demand for Next Men number 21 high, earning it a value of $100 for a high-grade raw copy. If you're getting value out of this video, do me a favor and hit the like button. Likes, comments, and sharing of our content lets YouTube know you enjoy our videos. Clawing its way into the number 7 spot is The Cat number 1. Released in November of 1972, The Cat number 1 tells the tale of Greer Grant and the chain of events that led her to gaining heightened senses, superhuman strength, and an inconspicuous bright yellow catsuit to run around in. Released more than 3 years prior to Patsy Walker discovering the cat suit and taking up the mantle of Hellcat in Avengers number 144, The Cat Number 1 is a Bronze Age Marvel comic that every EC Comics fan should own, as the cover art, pencils, and inks are provided by EC alums Marie Severin on the cover and pencils, and Wallywood on the inks. This issue has seen some price fluctuations in the last few years, but is currently on the upswing again, landing it on our list of comics to invest in on a $100 budget. Pouring into the number 6 spot is none other than Iron Man number 128. This classic Bob Layton cover features a broken and heavily intoxicated Tony Stark staring into a mirror in the final chapter of the fabled Iron Man story, Demon in a Bottle. Published in November of 1979, the story sees things going from bad to worse for Tony Stark and Iron Man. Today, the cover of this issue is synonymous with the 9-part story it concludes. The Bob Layton cover is what drives the value of this book, as Iron Man 128 overshadows the other 8 issues of the Demon in a Bottle story arc value-wise, despite other notable happenings such as the first appearance of Justin Hammer, Rhodey Rhodes' first cover appearance, an early Scott Lang Ant-Man appearance, and some of John Romita Jr.'s best cover work on the title. This issue has steadily been increasing in value in recent years and is a worthwhile addition to your collection for $100. This video is brought to you by Otis. What is Otis, you might ask? Otis is an alternative investment platform where you can buy and sell shares of cultural assets, including contemporary art, sneakers, and collectibles such as comic books and video games. It is as simple as downloading the Otis app and signing up for the service for free. Then you just watch for weekly drops of new assets, or you can search the catalog of previous drops to choose which items you'd like to invest in. From there, you simply manage your portfolio by staying up to date with the latest news and pricing information on the investments you've made. And when the time comes, you can either sell your shares to other Otis members or receive a proportional return on your investment if Otis sells the item you've invested in for more than the price at which you bought your shares. At the time of recording this video, there were some great key comic books available. A gorgeous X-Men number 1 CGC 9.2 with white pages was the first book that caught my eye. I didn't linger there long, as a couple of Bronze Age classics pulled me away. First up was a CGC 9.8 Tomb of Dracula number 10, featuring the first appearance of Blade the Vampire Slayer, followed shortly by a giant-size X-Men number 1 CGC 9.8. And I'll wrap it up with a CGC 9.8 TMNT number 1, first printing from the Copper Age. There were several other books available as well. You can sign up for Otis with the link in the description and get your first share free when you fund your account. Terms do apply. And now, let's get back to the list. Laughing all the way to the number 5 spot is another entry featuring the writing of Alan Moore, Batman, The Killing Joke. This one-shot is more impactful than any other one-shot in DC Comics history. Published in July of 1988, The Killing Joke has gone through more printings than I care to count, but I will for your sake. 14 different printings with a distinct logo and/or cufflink color used to differentiate them. If you're a collector who likes a challenge, try and find them all out in the wild. It will keep you busy for a while. Beautifully drawn by Brian Boland, the story features one of DC's more brutal moments when the Joker shows up at Barbara Gordon's apartment only to shoot and paralyze her in front of her father, Commissioner Gordon, when she answers the door. Things only get worse for Commissioner Gordon from there, as Moore's story goes down the rabbit hole of what the Joker's willing to do to get what he wants. Spoiler alert, it's not a rabbit hole full of sunshine and puppies. This premium format one-shot has a super thick cardstock cover, which makes for a fun combination with its black background. There are lots of high-grade copies to be had for our $100 budget, but be sure to keep an eye out for spine ticks. Haunting the number 4 spot on our list of comics to invest in on a $100 budget is Locke Key number 1. The most recently released book on the list, Locke Key #1, is also the most scarce issue on our list of comics to invest in on a $100 budget. Originally released by IDW in February 2008, retailers ordered only 7,560 copies of this premiere issue. Written by Joe Hill and drawn by Gabriel Rodriguez, Locke Key #1 features the first part of the Welcome to Lovecraft story arc that was recently adapted for a Netflix series. The success of that Netflix series and the low print run have helped boost this book into the triple-digit price range. If you're a fan of modern horror comics or you just enjoyed the Netflix show, this book would be a great addition to your collection. There is more than meets the eye in the #3 spot. Coming in at #3 is Transformers #1, the first comic book appearance of the Transformers. Introducing members of both the Autobots and the Decepticons, notable first appearances include Optimus Prime, Megatron, Ironhide, Starscream, Bumblebee, and Soundwave, published by Marvel Comics in September 1984 and featuring a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. The story for this premiere issue was written by Bill Mantlo with pencils from Frank Springer. The Transformers have remained a pop culture staple for more than 35 years, with successful runs in the toy aisle, movie theater, television, and finally the comic book store. Continued interest in this property, along with a streak of 80s mainstays coming back into vogue, has led to a recent price increase for this issue. Coming in right around the $100 mark at the time of recording this video, Transformers #1 is just another example of why you should be looking closely at Copper Age key issues for your next comic book investment. Using a healthy helping of Berserker Rage to land in the #2 spot is none other than Wolverine #1. Released in September of 1982, this 4-part Wolverine miniseries featured the powerhouse creative team of Frank Miller handling the cover art and interior art breakdowns, Chris Claremont on the scripts, and artist Joe Rubinstein on the finished pencils and inks. Miller's cover has caught the eye of collectors for nearly 40 years now, and Claremont's tale of Wolverine's time in Japan has been on the suggested reading list of more comic shops than I can count. Featuring a cameo appearance from Wolverine's ally Yukio, who makes her first full appearance in the following issue, it is Miller's famous cover and Claremont's coining of the phrase, "I'm the best there is at what I do," that propel this book to the want list of every serious Wolverine fan. If Wolverine is your guy, you're going to need a copy of this 1980s classic. Let's take a quick time out to recognize a couple of members of the community who recently commented on some of our videos. Here's a big shout out to Malone, Money Mindset, and Tom Nordley for leaving comments on our content. If you're not engaging in the community through posting comments, liking our videos, or interacting with our community posts, I hope you'll consider doing so if you find our content helpful. It's a quick and simple way for you to help support the channel. Now, let's finish off our list of the top 10 comics to invest in on a $100 budget for the winter of 2020. Topping our list is the Caped Crusader himself in a modern Batman key, Batman 635. This issue features the first appearance of Jason Todd as the Red Hood. After a rough go of it at the hands of the Joker in Batman 428, Jason Todd's time as Robin came to a brutal end in true 80s fashion, where DC let the readers decide his fate. If more readers called one number, he lived. If the majority of readers called another number, he died. Jason Todd then did the most comic book thing ever in Batman 635. He came back from the dead. The catch was, he did not come back to life as Batman's friend and sidekick Robin. He came back as the Red Hood, an alias that was previously used by the Joker before he became the Clown Prince of Crime. Todd's version of the Red Hood is a brutal and unforgiving anti-hero who has no problem breaking Batman's one rule, which, as you might imagine, doesn't sit well with the Bat. The character's popularity has remained strong, which has helped the value of this issue stay high since its publishing in February of 2005. If you are a DC or a Batman fan, this is a great book to invest your $100 in. 2020 is wrapping up and 2021 is right around the corner. This year has been full of surprises, some good and some not so good, but despite it all, the comic book market has remained strong and vibrant. We are currently in a strong seller's market for major keys, which can present a challenge for collectors and investors that are on a budget. Even though the top tiers of books may be out of reach, there's still ample opportunity to be found in the market. New books are breaking over the $100 mark all of the time, and picking them up as early as possible is the best way to maximize the return on your investment. What book did you pass at $100 or less earlier this year that's now worth $200, $300, or even more? Don't forget to check out Otis with the link in the description and get your first share free when you fund your account. Terms do apply. Happy hunting out there, and don't forget to collect responsibly. We will see you in the next video.